I never thought of it this way, but my grandfather was a professor. I never was thought, well, he was a professor, so I should be a professor. I never thought
Yes.
that. And now
Yes.
I'm like, why didn't I think that? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I should have had that mindset when I was, like I said, when I decided to major in education, I should have been like, yeah, my goal is to be a professor. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and
Yeah.
my mother working and teaching. And then I'll say this, I'll finish with this. Like, a lot of people will say, you'll ask kids, do you want to be a teacher? And they'll be like, and y'all don't make enough money. Y'all, blah, blah, blah. And people say all the time, I don't know how you work with kids. But then I think it's important for them to know I do make good money and I'm able to sustain a living and enjoy my family and learn. And I'm able to talk with people who want to talk about the things that I'm learning about with me. And all those things I think help me spiritually and physically and emotionally. Like, I think they help you sustain.
Greetings, Unhidden Voices family. Ramadan Mubarak. Welcome to episode 31. This episode launches our Look to the Teacher series, in which we honor the work of teachers. And we are doing this for Teacher Appreciation Week and moving forward. For the next month, we'll be talking about the work that teachers are doing in this moment to help us learn how to resist and how we learn to persist. So our first guest is Amber Clark. Amber is an assistant principal at Elk Grove Unified School District. She was also one of our fellows for our Centering Black Women Teachers in Teaching, Learning, and Research Fellowship. And Amber talks about the work that she learned during the fellowship and how it has helped to guide her work as an educator and as a parent. And so please subscribe to this podcast. Please like this episode. Please amplify it. Listen, learn, and amplify with us. What did you find most beneficial about the fellowship?
I found there was a lot, and if I would have thought about it to prioritize it, I could for you. But right now, I'm just gonna kind of just think of what comes to mind. One would be just the um, the knowledge and appreciation of, like, honoring ancestors. Like, what does that mean? What does that look like? Why is it important in research and studies and education? So for me, I think that that's impacted me as an individual since then. That in the music that I listen to, and the way that I feel about what I do for a living, that resonated the most. Uh, a lot. I wish I would have learned that when I was 5 years old. And then the opportunity to see all of these allies, so non-black, non-female people in the room, listening, guiding, informing, supporting, like, that meant a lot, because what it does is it affirms that those spaces do exist. So what I'm thinking, that saying that you can't imagine what you've never experienced, now is reality for me. I've experienced it, so I know that it can exist, and so that was really powerful. And then all of the education, like just learning about all these women, being able to call out 5 names. Oh, I could Septima Clark, da, 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 da. Like, I could just ring it out and do that. Is like, it feels good to be able to do that. Um, and just knowing that there is something to aspire to carry on. Like, one thing that you had said to me in one of our conversations was, like, when you research about a professor, you look at the work they're doing, and then you say, well, I want to further that work. Now that's where I'm at with this. So yeah, it was very valuable, meaningful. And then, like, the reflection pieces and collaboration opportunities to meet other Black women who are professionals in this industry, hands down, was amazing. Like, yeah.
Yay. Oh, that's so wonderful. It just does my heart good to hear you speak on this.
Yeah.
So if you were to give advice to a future applicant to the fellowship, what would you tell them based on your experience?
Bring people with you. I feel like I made a solid effort to do that, so that you're doing that work right with somebody that would benefit. So bring people with you. Um, go in with an open mindset. I think most people, whoever would see this, would do that, but I think it's more of, like, be prepared to learn something that you might not have thought about. and be ready to do something with that work. And then take advantage of the the opportunities to collaborate and fellowship and network with anybody in the group. So like, I think that's the advice I would give. Mhm.
Absolutely. All right. So, two more questions.
Okay.
One is about and you talked a little bit about this, but if you had one takeaway from the fellowship, what would you say that was?
Um, hmm. I think I'm gonna go back to the um, honoring the people who've come before us and the ancestors part, because I think, like I said, for me, that's resonated in all areas of my life and the way that I communicate with others about what I'm doing. So, um, finishing that fellowship, especially the culminating events, and then talking about that and reflecting with that in front of my family and with my family, I think was powerful. And I think it kind of helped them see, like, when I'm coming home stressed and the things I'm talking about, uh, the work that I'm doing outweighs that stress. Like, they're able to see that why I'm willing to do this work. And yeah, again, like, I think that it hasn't been done before, that we've valued ancestors in that way, so that I just think it's empowering. Like, I think it's empowering not just for me, but for the people that I'm serving. So I think that's my biggest takeaway, and I think it resonates across anything that I'm doing. The music I listen to, if I'm going to fellowship with people spiritually, I'm doing yoga, any of these things, I'm thinking like, I'm doing this in honor of my ancestors, and so it's good work. Yeah.
So can you talk a little bit about that more in
Yeah.
terms of what does that look like? So for example, you said that you said it a couple times, the music that you listen to. So how does that work? Like, what does that mean?
Yeah, so like, I think about, I love music, and I use it even as a teacher. Like, kids are doing independent work, I'm playing music. When I'm doing my chores, my mother played music, and I do that for my kids. When I'm driving to work, I'm thinking of music when I'm listening. So I think about how powerful that is in communicating anything, whether it's the struggles that people are going through, the successes people have, the love that people need or have given. And so, because this work teaching is very relational, I think that honoring ancestors in that is important. And so, like, I think about why does certain music hit your soul? You know, when you hear it and make you feel like you got to dance or shout or do whatever. And I think we talked about that. Someone mentioned that in some of the work that we've done here. So, yeah. So for me, I think it's very educational, and you can use that as a way to inform others, the music, and you're thinking of the time that this music came out, how it's impacting political or policy or practices that we're doing. Yeah, so like, for instance, like, I embrace rap music,
Yeah.
and other people are looking at me like, "Is that a Tupac on your shirt?" And I'm thinking, "Yeah," and the kids relate to this
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he's telling stories of their lives or their parents' lives or things like that. And how do we use that to educate kids why they need to read and write, why they need to come to school, and that these people are educated people. Like, it's an art form,
Yeah.
and if we're going to appreciate all aspects of education, art is definitely one of them. So for me, I think that one resonates with me a lot, music. And then, like I told you, because like we talked about, teachers are leaving the profession, or Black women are leaving the profession at alarming rates, and there's not enough Black male teachers. And so, I think they need these spaces, these affirming spaces, these affinity spaces to do that and sustain the work. We need to be here. It's
Yeah.
not, yeah. So
Absolutely right. And so there's gosh, I could talk to you for a long time.
yeah,
Because I really also appreciated what you said about your family seeing coming to the conference and the symposium. And can you talk a little bit more about that and what were some of the
yeah.
reactions to because I'm sure this was also new for them to hear about these figures and also to hear your story.
Right. Yeah, I think, like I said, I think media promotes athletics or crazy politics. It's not really promoting teachers or educators or professors that are doing this work that is challenging, or what it feels like. So when they're at the symposium and they're seeing me prepare my work, and I'm stressed, like I gotta feel good, look at like all this. And so they see that stress, but then when they see the outcomes and how happy I am or how proud I am, or if I'm able to talk about, expand on something and then challenge them, right? Like ask questions like, what do you think? And have you heard of this person? And, I think that it just helps me as an educator, like I said, but then as a mother and a wife, I want my kids to value education. I want them to love it. I want them to see that it's uh, uh, it's a tool to get them whatever they want. And after that symposium, one thing that like lit my heart was I asked my son, well, would you be like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And he says, I'll be a teacher. And I kind of look like, boy,
What?
like, yeah. And and he's an athlete. And all kids I want to go pro, but for him to say I want to be a teacher, and yeah, I might teach PE and coach and do things because I like it, like just to see that it was just something that is like an attainable, like I can see this goal happening and nothing really can get in my way. You know what I mean, for that goal? Because athletics, things can get in your way.
Yeah.
This, pretty much, if you put your mind right, you can get there. And so that just melted my heart, made me feel proud that like someone in my family is conditioning, continue that tradition. So yeah, and then like I said, hearing other women motivated me. I called you the next day and called Dr. Hollenside the next day. How do I get to a doctoral program? What do I have to do? How can I do this? Yeah, highly motivated to just continue to learn and be around like-minded people and be challenged by ideas and new perspectives. And I think that I am doing that so that my kids see me do that. Because I want them to know that, continuing education is doable and fun and exciting and worth your while. You know what I mean? Like, I want them to see me do this. I don't want to wait till they're out the house and distracted by things. I have the controlled attention right now, audience. So I'm gonna take advantage of it. Yeah.
So right. So right.
Spread out your wings.